What is going on with Social Security? What is going on for the American people? Is Congress going to do something to provide additional benefits, or is this all we're going to see? Well, that's what we need to address today because we do have some big updates. Now, I want to break down what's going on regarding the cost of living adjustment, regarding Medicare, how much you are actually going to get, and why some are saying this could be a very difficult year for senior citizens and anybody on Social Security. So we're going to address all that in today's video, so make sure you stick around for this entire one. So here's the first big update. We are now seeing lawmakers are questioning the acts that Congress put in place over the past few decades. For instance, they're saying since 1984, Social Security has promised far more benefits than it could ever pay. And they knew that. They knew this was something that was going to happen. In fact, just to give you an idea, a typical couple that retires in the latter part of 2030, they have been promised about 60 to 64% more in lifetime benefits than they have paid into the system through taxes. And the Social Security Administration knows this. And they say this is what is creating a massive shortfall. But it's not because of what the Social Security Administration has done, but because of what Congress has enacted into law. Now, we have some other problems here, but that's just the start. What you need to understand right now is that Congress is the one that dictates how much money is pulled from your check that goes to taxes to pay for the Social Security benefits later on in life. But Congress is also the one that is pretty much dictating how much you are going to get because of your cost of living adjustment. For example, this year, we saw an 8.7% cost of living adjustment. This was huge. This created a massive benefit. I think the average is like $140 per month is what you were going to get. Well, fast forward to today, and now that benefit is about $57. Much different. Now, here's something that we just learned from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS. They are saying that, yes, they have to increase their costs. Okay? They have to increase monthly premiums. So just to give you an idea, I pulled it up right here. Look at this. It says last week, the CMS announced that the standard monthly premium for Medicare Part B enrollees will be $174.70. It's an increase of $9.80, so roughly $10 per month. The annual deductible for Medicare Part B beneficiaries will rise to $240 in 2024 from $226 in 2023. Now, we just continue to see more and more increases. That's what we see. So what we are now being told, again, the monthly premium for Medicare Part B enrollees goes to $174. Okay? Now, one thing that I just want to readdress is that we see this every single year where Medicare goes up, your cost of living adjustment goes up, but the end result is your cost of living adjustment goes up, but if your expenses are increasing as well, if your expenses are going up, let's say $30 a month, and your benefits go up $50 a month, that means you only have $20 extra every single month. And that's to pay for the rising costs of food, transportation, shelter, utilities, medication, right? Things like that. Again, this is another problem, but this is what lawmakers are calling out other people on. Is that they have to do more for Social Security recipients because they are on a fixed income. That's all they're going to get, and they need to be able to utilize that for the entire month. Now, this is why it's turning into a massive problem, okay? Because lawmakers always have different ideas. And I was reading this article, and it was talking about different options back in 1977. And the reason why they were talking about this is because in 1977, the Social Security Administration, or Social Security amendments that had to be taken that responded to a technical error in 1972, which caused retirement benefits to simply skyrocket. And in 1979, the Social Security Trust Fund would have become insolvent in just 2 years' time, because that's how fast the benefits increased. So in 1977, and I pulled this up right here, okay, look at this. It says in 1977, law sought to slow the rapid growth in benefits for future retirees. At the time, Congress considered two options, and this is exactly what's happening now. Now, the options that they used in 1977 are different than what they're considering today, but Congress still has multiple options, and they're trying to figure out which is the best one to move forward with. Let's continue reading. Congress considered two options. The first, recommended by an expert commission headed by Harvard economist William Xiao, would link the growth of the initial benefits paid to new retirees to the rate of inflation. Okay, this is it. Paid to new retirees to the rate of inflation. That's from a expert commission headed by a Harvard economist. The second approach, and this is favored by the Carter administration, would index initial benefits to national average wage growth. Essentially, that's what we did. Okay? Now, the reason I bring this up is not because of what happened then, but because of what could happen today. It's because of all the issues we've had in the past 4 decades that now lawmakers are taking their time. They're trying to reconsider this. They're trying to get experts involved to tell them, hey, this may or may not work. And they want to get all the information before they make any moves. And I bring this up because that is one of the reasons why we are seeing anything for Social Security pretty much come to a complete halt. Yes, we have issues in Ukraine, we have issues in Israel, we have issues with our government funding bill within Congress. We do not have a Speaker of the House as of today. And so again, we got a lot of problems as well, but this is a problem that we've seen been coming for the past 30 or 40 years, and now we're just jumping on it. But there's another problem. And I want to talk about this problem as well, because this is something that could potentially take your entire Social Security benefit away. Here's what's happening. And I've talked about this over the past month or so, that we're actually starting to see letters sent to people from the Social Security Administration that are saying that they owe them back pay or they were overpaid. And so now we have tens of thousands of people that are receiving these letters and asking for a full repayment of benefits. But the truth is starting to come out. Why did so many people get an overpayment? How could the Social Security Administration be so careless with their money? Well, here's what we're hearing. According to reports, the Social Security Administration is asking for repayment for months during COVID. Okay, during about 2020 to 2022, we're starting to see a lot of these letters coming out saying that this is when you're overpaid. But what's happening is now we're getting reports over on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, where people are now saying that, how could I have an overpayment during COVID when I was barely working? I was working part-time. I was collecting Social Security at that time, but I was also receiving other benefits. And this is where things really come to light. What the Social Security Administration is doing, and again, this is against their own rules because they say COVID stimulus, it doesn't count towards assets or income. But this, they're referring to COVID stimulus checks. This is where things could be very interesting, because if people are receiving assistance, for example, let's say they had rental forbearance, they didn't have to pay rent for 8 months, and then they received all this funding later on to help pay for their rent. That could have been looked at as additional assistance, as additional income. And if it was, then should these people have to pay all this money back to the Social Security Administration? Well, right now they can contest it. The problem is, if it doesn't work out in their favor, they will still have to pay this back. And in many cases, this could be thousands and thousands of dollars, which right now the majority of Social Security recipients are pretty much living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have $5,000 sitting in the bank account that they can just go and give back to the Social Security Administration. So again, it's a massive problem, but it's a problem that the Social Security Administration has to figure out immediately. So that's what we know regarding Social Security as of right now. Again, as we get more information, I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates, but that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.